Hi everyone, it's nice to see you again. Welcome back to the channel, and as I promised in my last video, today we are going to talk about very detailed features of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We are going to take a look at the gear of each character, or at least on some gear the characters can equip, especially the weapons. But we are going to talk a little bit about more features and something we can pull out of this information we already got from Rocksteady Studios. So let's get started. The first thing we are going to talk about today is the character loadout screen. We have it here and we have another one, but we're going to have a first look at Harley Quinn's character loadout to have some first insights. So here we have firearm 1 and 2. So you will be able to use two weapons in fight. You can switch between those on the fly. If you prefer another weapon for other circumstances, you can switch this by the push of a button or the mouse wheel. I'm not sure about this, but you can switch it. So here you can see SMG and heavy weapons. So Harley Quinn at least was able to equip heavy weapons as well. I'm not sure if it is still the case now, but it was possible. And here we can see 3 dots on each weapon, and we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. Harley Quinn in this case is level 38, so we have these weapons as well level 38, and all the other gear is also level 38. I'm not sure if this will be always the case, but here we have it this way. We have one melee weapon. It's the baseball bat. In this case, you see it is played with a controller in this case. We have a grenade slot, and you can see that the grenade stuns the enemies, I would say. And this one has a frost effect, so it freezes the enemies, I would guess. Next thing on the right side is the mod section. So we have several mods. 2 of them are locked on this screen, but in the next screen we have one unlocked as well. The first 2 we have is one shield mod. So in this slot there will be placed mods that do something to our shield. I guess we have more shield available, or we regenerate more shield in a shorter period of time, something like this. We have another slot for traversal, and we have already seen a lot of material last time about traversal and how every hero has a different type of traversal, how he moves through the city, and we can modify this. And here this icon has an headset, so I'm not sure about this and what a mod in traversal could do, but please let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. I think that's very, very interesting here. So we can move on to the next screen. This is King Shark, and in this case King Shark is level 50 already. So you can see that he's using legendary gear. This yellow color is legendary gear, and he has also the 2 firearms. Here is a minigun. Here we have an icon with fire, so fire damage of course. And we have another mod slot on this side here, and it is for the neck bomb. So you have a modification for the neck bomb, and I'm also not sure what this could be doing. I'm really not sure what this could be, but it sounds really, really exciting. What effect could this mod slot have? Let me know in the comments. What we can also see on this screen is this here. So we have seen in the pre-order that there are dolls, and you can place these dolls on your weapons. So this is the cosmetics, and you can also have an example how this might look. I think this is a tooth in this example, but you can expect the dolls to appear, for example, on such a weapon like this. Other things we can see here is this number, and this number is different than here. I have cut it out a little bit. It's 4 out of 300, and here it is 10 out of 300, but I'm not sure what this means. These 2 items will be a topic for some items we have here, but we are going to start with this legendary sniper rifle, and this item is something exceptional in our list, because if you look at this, it doesn't appear on any other items we have seen so far. So we have a look at this. I think this could be an upgrade system, so you can upgrade the weapon in 10 tiers, and it is 5 out of 10, so we can upgrade it 5 more times. But please let me know if you know anything else about this, or if you have another expectation what this could be. Other things we can see already is a quick compare. So we compare weapons regarding attack, protection and healing. So these are the 3 main components in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Protection is for our shield. Healing, I'm not sure how healing will play out in this game, but this is something we can expect to see, I guess, in the next video from Rocksteady Studios. And the attack is something that is clear to any one of us, I guess. The DPS is also clear, it's damage per second. I expect this to be the reload time, so how long it takes to reload when you are out of ammo. So we also have damage per hit, so it's a range here. We have critical hit damage when we land a critical hit. This critical hit deals 283% enhanced damage. We have a capacity of 21 rounds, I guess, and the rate of fire is 300. The next interesting point or aspect of this is what we have already seen here, these 3 dots. And I think that these 3 dots are shown here. This is the 4th tier of weapon rarity we can find in this game. So we have green, blue, purple and yellow. And we have different affixes here on this weapon. One thing I am very happy about is that these affixes are pretty clear and not that complicated. I have an example for myself, Diablo 4, that I played this year, and I didn't have a good feeling about their affix system. I like it a lot more that these affixes are pretty clear. So we have more ammo and we have an enhanced critical hit damage for this firearm. It's very clear and simple, but it doesn't have to be complicated to be fun. And the next one, this is a purple effect, plus 50% damage to crazed enemies with this firearm. So crazed is something as status the enemies can be. They can be crazed. So this is nice to know already. And when we look at legendary weapons, we can see in the next pictures as well that there is an effect, a bonus effect on those legendary weapons, and not the Apex, for example. There is not such an effect. So we have the legendary weapon here, in this case, successful critical rounds, reloads have a 100% chance to instantly burn the next enemy hit. So we have another great hint here. Critical reloads, so there will be not only critical hits when you deal damage, but also when you reload, you can reload critically. So I think that's a really nice thought. Maybe you reload instantly and don't have this much reload time, or you can reload even more ammunition. I'm not sure how this will play out, but it sounds really interesting. So next one we're going to talk about is the clutch hitter. It's a bludgeon weapon for Harley Quinn, and we have affixes like shield harvest damage bonus. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I would assume that when you trigger the shield harvest, then you get a damage bonus for this period of time. Even combo strike, I'm not sure about combos yet. I think we haven't heard a lot about combos so far, but we have heard about the suicide strike damage in the last video. So the suicide strike resource gain is clear to everyone, I guess. So here we have 3 affixes as well. 5% ammo gain from melee hits, so you can gain more ammunition. That's nice. Plus 5.5% grenade drop chance. So this is a nice one. I'm liking the fact that there will be grenades in the game, so you have another thing you can throw at the enemies, and have a little bit more of a variation. When you fight, you can choose which weapon to use and which ability to use and how you approach these encounters. I think that's very good. So plus 10% XP gained, and yeah, it's clear to everyone. I think this one is interesting. Deep freeze. I would assume that this weapon will deep freeze enemies. Maybe there is a chance to deep freeze the enemies, but I'm not sure if those icons have anything to do with that. Maybe you can push the chance to deep freeze enemies, and when there is a full blue frame around this icon, maybe you have the highest chance to deep freeze enemies. And something like this as well for dazed, I guess, or poison. We'll see how this is going to play out, but it's very interesting to see already. So we can move on to the next one. 11% melee damage to grunt enemies. So this is also another good hint what enemies we can expect. And plus 31% melee damage on shield harvestable enemies. So when we trigger this shield harvest effect, we can have additional damage on them. That's cool. And plus 2% shield regeneration on melee hit. So shield, I guess, will be a very important factor in the game, and especially in the late game, that you keep your shield up, because you're going to go down very quickly when you don't have shield on your character. We have a legendary weapon here, so we can see also another bonus effect. Every melee hit is a strong strike, and strong strikes sends brute enemies flying, not tanks or choppers though, but totally everything else. So this is a cool effect. This melee hit is a strong strike, so there are different types of strikes. The next thing we are going to talk about is something from King Shark, and we have something we already have talked about. Shield harvest chance. Maybe to trigger this shield harvest is a plus 1% chance, plus 3% suicide strike resource on melee hit. And this is something cool too, I guess. Plus 22% melee damage on Batman-Infused enemies. So here we have another very interesting fact. We didn't know about that much so far. I guess that we are going to fight against enemies that are infused by different heroes. So Flash, for example, or Green Lantern, and so on and so forth. So we have Batman-infused enemies here, and we have this weapon especially useful in this section of the game when you are fighting against Batman-infused enemies. So this is something very cool that hasn't been mentioned yet. And we have a bonus effect. Shield harvesting an afflicted enemy has a 75% chance of spreading that affliction to all enemies within 10 meters. So this is very cool, some kind of an AoE effect. And we have another bonus effect. On killing an enemy with a suicide strike, your next melee attack's damage is increased by 500%. 500% sounds pretty huge, so I hope this will be useful. So here we have an overview. All the weapons we talked about so far, you can see the difference between those items. And like I said in the beginning, there is 5 out of 10. So I guess this item could be upgradable, but let me know in the comments if you have any other idea what this could be. We already got to know that there are different weapons from different companies, but we see already LexCorp and here GCPD, and there are many more. But we already know about set items. So they mentioned that there will be a Bane set, for example. And as far as I have seen it in the gameplay, you can trigger an effect, a Bane effect. And in this case, when you hit enemies, there will be a green smoke around those enemies. And sometimes there is a skull above, a green skull above the enemies. And then you can do a gap closer, and if you are attacking those enemies with a melee attack, they are going to explode and cause damage to all enemies around this enemy. So I think this could be a very good sign for us that we can expect more of those set items and hopefully some very cool effects to play around with and cause havoc in this game. So thank you all for tuning in to this video today, and I hope you learned something about Suicide Squad Kill Justice League, especially the gear and what we can expect from combat and what effects they are, what affixes we can expect. And I think we have a lot more insight now how combat could work, but I'm still on the fence what some things mean in this regard, like Venom Frenzy and Deep Freeze, how this will play out in the game. So let's wait for the next video. I'm planning to do a lot more about Suicide Squad Kill Justice League, so if you liked this video, please consider subscribing, liking and commenting down below in the video section. Thank you all for tuning in and have a great time, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.